Hey guys, Pedro here to do an album review. Today I'm here to talk to you guys about the brand new record from Possessed, Revelations of Oblivion, out May 10th on Nuclear Blast. The album has 12 tracks and it's 53 minutes in length. Having said that, there are an intro and an outro track. So once you remove those two, you get 10 full-length songs, if you will. Now, the name of the album is Revelations of Oblivion, and I don't think they could have picked a better title to describe lyrically what this album is all about. Lyrically, I felt that this album was really a pack your bag and go home kind of vibe as far as the world around us is concerned. It's almost like everything is going to hell in a handbasket and the world around us is turning into absolute shit. We're living in hell, so don't worry about going to hell when you die because you're already living in it. That is pretty much the message that's there from song number 2 to song number 11. It's all about that. That is the theme that really percolates throughout this whole record. And that theme really resonates well with the title of the album. Overall, if I had to describe this album musically and lyrically, I would have to use two words: relentless aggression. That's what this album is all about on all aspects of the record. Lyrically, like I said, I told you guys already what to expect from the content of the lyrics, and those lyrics are very aggressive in nature. They really pack a punch. They really have a somber, doom, kind of like apocalyptic feel to it, but they are very aggressive in nature, and the music behind it, the soundtrack, if you will, behind those lyrics is relentless and it's aggressive. Those are the best two words to overall describe the listening experience that is to sit down and listen to this record. In terms of the structure of the album, in terms of the vibe of the album, I really felt like the band recaptured their 1985-86 sound, even though we're in 2019. They were able to duplicate that style, that sound, the way the songs come across, the way the songs are structured. It's a perfect blend, if you will, of death metal with thrash metal laced riffs. So the overall vibe, the overall structure, the overall mood and atmosphere of the record is really death metal record. But a lot of the riffs on this record, there is a little hint here and there, a song here and there. There's a little bit of black metal in it. Very subtle hints of black metal in there. But predominantly death metal album laced with thrash metal guitar riffs in and out of songs. I really felt that way listening to this record, but I really felt that they've blended those styles perfectly well. They really created songs that had aggression, that had heaviness, that had a really ominous vibe to them, and at the same time adding some melody in and out of tracks. Because one thing about this record, as far as the songs are concerned, is that the songs are not linear. The album is linear, and I'll explain you guys what I mean by that, but the tracks are not. The tracks really take you in different directions. They really pull you left and right. And a track that starts more with a thrash metal sounding riff changes on a dime into a more death metal kind of song. So there is a lot of movement within tracks and back and forth, and they really change direction on the dime on a lot of the tracks. So from a song structure perspective, the album is very dynamic. On the overall picture, like I said before, the album is very linear. Now, what I mean by that is that while there's a lot of changes within specific songs, the overall feel of the album is very down a narrow and straight path. They really didn't deviate at all from that path. To me, it felt like they wanted to put out a record that was within their comfort zone, that was within their wheelhouse. They didn't want to deviate too much. They didn't want to try too much. They knew what their sound was. They wanted to duplicate that sound, and they wanted to do something that felt comfortable to them. This album comes across as a safe record. A record that really doesn't push a lot of boundaries, that just really it just really takes you from point A to point B without ruffling any feathers along the way. It's very linear from that perspective. What you get from the second song on the record, because the first one is an intro, what you get from the second song on the record is pretty much what you're going to get throughout the whole record. So there's not a lot of experimenting, there's not a lot of deviation from that path. Like I said, it just felt to me that they were comfortable within this specific sound and style. They really didn't want to deviate from it. They wanted to remain true to that sound, and that's what they did to this record. I just hope that this record acts like a springboard to them to perhaps push the envelope a little bit further in future albums. I hope there will be future albums, that they don't go on a huge hiatus as they did before. So I really hope that this perhaps sparks something that allows them to move forward, and as they move forward, they start to try different angles, if you will. Because from an overall perspective, I felt the album was it was very predictable. It became predictable after a few tracks. You almost knew what to expect. There was not much coming at you that really allowed you to change your focus. The songs themselves have a few nuances, have a few changes, predominantly in terms of the style that they created within the song. There's not one song that has one predominant style. They incorporate different styles within the same song, so there are some internal changes. But overall, when you look at the album from an overall picture, from an overall perspective, it becomes very predictable. So I really hope that this was an album that allowed them to get their feet wet, that allowed them to get a feel for what their sound was, stay within their comfort zone, but allow this record to really be a springboard to move forward with the band, and to really allow the band to grow and perhaps expand their horizons, expand their sound a little bit, and incorporate a few different things here and there. To me, there were some glimpses of that, but not enough to really make me feel like the album had a lot of life overall. Even though there was a lot of life within certain tracks, overall, I felt the album became, like I said, predictable. Now, as far as tracks are concerned, I picked 3 tracks, and I don't think it's a surprise the 3 that I picked are very similar in style, and they're very similar in what they give you. Because I really gravitated towards more tracks that had a little bit more of a thrash metal influence and not as much an old school death metal influence. Because this album overall is an old school death metal album, but like I said, there's a lot of thrash metal mixed in there. And I would say in some tracks, some of the intros to some of the tracks had even a little hints of black metal. Now, I picked 3 songs that to me are very similar, but are 3 songs that I felt a connection to at the moment that I started listening to the record. I'm going to start with Dominion. It has a killer riff that really gets the song underway. It almost has, this song almost feels to me that it has more of a thrash metal structure through it than it does a death metal structure. To me, it morphs really well between those two worlds. It's a song that really merges them well. It allows the song to come in and out of those two worlds extremely fluid. You don't feel a break when the song becomes a lot heavier, a lot more methodic. You don't feel it. It just really blends well between those two styles. And it's a song that really never slows down and never really gives the listener a break. And that is almost a trademark of this whole record. The songs, like I said at the beginning, relentless aggression, the 2 words that I used to describe this record. This song is a perfect example of that. Relentless aggression almost from the beginning, almost from the get-go. Not even during the chorus you get a chance to breathe. In some songs on the album, they do give you a chance to take a little bit of a breath during the chorus. This song is not one of those. It just always continues with that relentless aggression, minute after minute, riff after riff. It's just absolutely unstoppable, and this song is one of those songs that just has a lot of momentum to it. You get some changes in melodies throughout the song, you get some changes in tempos, but it overall never really takes away the aggression that the track has. Even almost when the song is starting to change a little bit, it never changes enough to really take away any of the aggression that's there from the beginning. The solo in the song really felt to me that it fell in line with the song. It fell in line with the tempo, with the momentum, with the aggression that the song had. They did an amazing job on this record with the solos, because they really created solos that added something to the songs. Not only added melody, but they added aggression as well, and they added something to the songs, and they gave direction to the song. This one is another perfect example of a song that does that, a solo that does that to a track. The second song I want to talk about is Demon. This is perhaps my second favorite track on the album. It was listening to the album the first time around, this is the one that piqued my interest first, but it's not my favorite track on the album. It's perhaps my second favorite. I really love the methodic nature of the chorus. When you compare this song is a song of peaks and valleys. This is a song that gives you peaks during the verses and valleys during the chorus. It's a song that really alternates two worlds, so you always feel like you're going up and down in a roller coaster with this song. It just alternates really aggression with a more methodic heaviness, and you get that more methodic heaviness during the chorus. I really like that. I really like that that change in pace, that alternating styles, if you will. It just gives the song a little bit of extra life. To me, one of the key components of this song, it was one of the things that immediately, the moment I listened to this song, it spoke to me immediately, was the bass line. They use this really small stretch of bass that's really predominant. Almost everything drops to the background, and all you hear is this bass line, and it's followed immediately by the solo. Absolutely magnificent intro to the solo. Really a cool way to create a lead into that solo. Something different, something a little bit out of the box. I wish they had done a few things more like that throughout the record. And this song, a song that has a lot of peaks and valleys, introducing that bass line at that moment as the lead in into the solo works extremely well. It makes the solo sound a lot heavier, a lot more melodic, because you have that bass to give it a little bit of a contrast beforehand, versus having the song being heavy with heavy riffs, fast riffs, and then following it through with a solo, almost blending those two worlds together. This way it really creates a break, it creates a divide, and I really enjoyed that. Last but not least, The Word. This is my favorite song on the record. I love the melody that the guitar riff has in this song. This song is absolutely incredibly put together. The melody of the chorus is what attracted me to this song, which really surprised me, because it's perhaps one of the more melodic tracks on the whole record. I really feel like the melody and the chorus of this song, to me, like I said, is what attracted me to the track. And I got that melody from two different components. I got that melody from the guitars, from the beautiful guitar riff that they introduced in the chorus of this track, but also how that interacts with Jeff's vocals. I really felt that the connection between the vocals and the guitar melody was absolutely beautiful. It really creates an overall sense of melodic melancholy to the track. It really works well. It really plays off of one another, and the fact that these two components come together in the chorus to really give you to give you something a little bit more melodic, that throughout the whole album you never got anything as melodic as you got on the chorus of this track. So I really like that. That's really what attracted me to this song. This song really has a lot of dark vocals to it. I really felt that almost the vocals gave a dark sense to the song, and then when you add the more melodic guitar riffs on the other end, it creates a song that has a little bit of a different style, a little bit of a different aroma. And I think that is the reason why I was so attracted to this song, because it's perhaps one of the songs that's the most different of them all on the record. When you look at every single song on the record, this one to me was the one that felt the most different of them all. It just felt to have a life of its own. It really alternates states of emotion. The symbiosis between the vocal delivery and the guitar melody, like I said, specifically in the chorus, extremely well done, and added a lot of melody. I'm a fan of melody, and specifically this dark, embracing melody. I really love it. This to me was my favorite song on the album. I really enjoyed it. Alright guys, this is Possessed, Revelations of Oblivion, out May 10th on Nuclear Blast. Let me know your thoughts on the band, on the record. Have you checked out the singles? They have 2 singles out right now. Let me know your thoughts. Use the comment section below. I'll be reading those and getting back to you. Take care, guys.